speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seeds sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet to leave, I'm still breathing. To quit, I have no reason. I mean, I'm asleep, but I be trying to live my dream. I cannot even act if it's all easy. Either you gon' do it or you don't. Really, it ain't no in between. Baby, you can ask the sun. It's an everyday theme. Consistency in your routine is how you bring reality. Working like a slave, that's how I made this masterpiece. Living like a god, I lay at night, I rest in peace. They remember me, but I am not Haram or beef.
Peace.
Peace.
How everybody doing, man?
Great. We just had a great workout. You know, as
Malik,
always.
You want to tell the people what we do every Friday? I mean, every Saturday and Sunday
Every
in the
Saturday
morning.
and Sunday. First thing we do at 8 o'clock in the morning. Man, AZ time is get our mind, body, and spirit together. As one. We start with getting that body engaged and moving. So an adapt class about 45 minutes later and get our spirit right. Mind, body, spirit must agree as one. That's what we do every Saturday and Sunday. Sunday, we do it early. We have a longer break, and then we get to the Sunday school.
Islam.
We end the week with mind, body, and spirit, and we also begin the week with mind, body, and spirit. Everybody knows Saturday is the beginning of the week, Sunday is the end of the week.
Islam. I had to get some of that good tea. But with that being said, brothers and sisters, you know, today, Saturday, is our story, history, civic science. Always like to share things that may not be common with brothers and sisters. I open up our ADAPT library. We open things up because here at the BBT, we about the mind. We about the mental. We understand. We're not under no orthodox. We are under the triple rose. We have a clear understanding of all the three religious rights, the Fatimite, the Paraclete, the Jerusalem, per se, the Christian, etc. We don't study nothing outside ourselves. Anything outside ourselves is true shirk. The closest place we find God, Allah, Yahweh, Buddha, whatever you want to call it, is in our heart. So with that being said, we come in peace, light, and illumination. And if you to learn, we say peace. We say shalom alaikum. We say any name that you give praise and honor, we give it right back to you. But today, I always share interesting topics. And so today I was asked to share a topic. It's a book. And I always like to say, yes, things are in books, but also we need to, how can I say, activate things. And a lot of things were written. A lot of things were took out. Why? To keep us off the breadcrumbs, to keep us stranded like Hansel and Gretel. It's a thing called the reading list in academia. It's a thing called program learning. It's a thing called Eurocentric and Negrocentric propaganda, with all due respect. With all due respect. So when we talk about sacred, nothing secret, anybody that say that they a God man or a Buddha, a shaman, a medicine man, you're going to teach regardless. And at the BBT, we have a brotherhood regardless of race, regardless of creed, regardless of any of that. That's what we're here to do. So one of the degrees of wisdom I like to quote from, and I always like to share books, not only historical things that's passed down, but maybe some things that you may have heard of and people have in their libraries. I'm not going to stay too far in this topic. Like I said, you can get this from me. When you connect it to myself and my muftis, we have it for a library. This is how you build your library. When someone says they have a home school, I have a home school. I also have different topics of wisdom to help you get there faster than you may get on your own. And then we break the stuff down as a body. So the topic I'm gonna start off with is the ancient secrets of the personal power, the Technogrammathon. And I'm just gonna, it's a plethora of topics in this piece of wisdom. You know, it's some beautiful topics, but I'm just gonna illuminate a little bit of topic, chapter 1, which is the kingdom within. And I may touch on another chapter, but I'll just give you some of the introduction of the topics that are chapters in this piece of wisdom.
What page
Kingdom
is that on?
within. You say what, my noble?
Oh, there it is. I got you.
Yeah, I'm in the introduction still, in the preface still. But listen to some of the topics. The kingdom within, perfection is within, secrets of the body, mysterious glands, 7 astral centers, technogrammathon, science of sensology, endocrinology, higher consciousness, teleology, seership, astrolite, living fire, macrocosm and microcosm. When I talk about in school, you don't like macroeconomics and microeconomics. When I teach you about the big and the little, what you mean, big money and little money, when I break it down for you can understand, you will love everything that I'm talking about. Time, eternity. In connection with this wisdom, the student should study Man's Higher Consciousness by Professor Hotima, which covers in detail the vital subjects of breathing, drinking, and eating. You see how Malik didn't even know all the perspective I was going to get in, because if your heart is pure, it's going to be some things that you're going to do to keep yourself connected. I just told you what tools in the toolbox, what breathing, eating, drinking. So I'm not going to stay too far in it. I'm going to touch on a little bit of chapter 1 a little bit. And then I'm going to go to some other pieces of wisdom, because today is just the study day. Everything that I talk about, I share. Our library is extensive. So everyone here on TikTok that's following us, all these people, you should want to deal with us. I'm telling you, you should be able to, like, man, we share everything. So you can confuse all dogma and you can ask questions. I'm gonna leave something in your head for later on, because I'm gonna come back and ask this question in a minute. I'm not gonna forget. Watch this. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Y'all keep that in your head, right? Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. And then I'm gonna show you something, a piece of wisdom that I gave my nobles, and they're gonna be like, wow. And I'll be like, yeah. When you think things are bad, nothing's is bad. Peace, noble. Peace, Bay Fall Studios. Peace and love. When I tell you, you're looking at things in the wrong way. I promise you this. Matthew 10, verse 16. And then watch when I show you in some other wisdom. Remember, I always tell people about it's more wisdom. Like, I don't diss the brain. When I talk about Edgar Cayce, Neville Goddard, all those European writers, Neville Goddard was trained by the Ethiopian rabbi. You can research what I'm saying. I'm not here for nobody to be trolling or playing around. Like, that's not my mission. And I don't disrespect anyone. You know? So what I'm saying is, you can see these things. It's a lot of stuff that's hidden. When I talk about things that's written, like when I talk about the Philosophical Research Society, and people say that's a real place. Yes, it's a real place, with all due respect. It have a whole section, a Manly P. Hall Library. So keep this in your head. Matthew 10, verse 16, the kingdom within. Doesn't this biblical scripture says that the kingdom is within you in Luke 17 and 21? I'm just asking my brothers and sisters. I'm not telling nobody what to believe or what to do. That's not my mission. I'm not here to try to convert no one or say this and that and the other. That's not my mission. I know who I am. I challenge people to know who they are. But when we look at things that's written, and when we look at, how can I say, language, and when a person say, well, they have a true understanding, and I say, really, sometimes you may not. If you're coming from a literal perspective, if you don't understand analogy and parable and symbology, that's not my fault. It's certain words in the biblical scriptures that means something totally different, and people haven't took the time to research a word. Just like I say, if in the biblical scripture, in the context when it says fulfill, we're not under the law, this, not, and the other. And in that context, that word fulfill is a Greek word called poliro. you will misquote that text. Why? For not taking the time to look up to use the lexicon to see what that word means in its entirety when it was written. Understand, it's certain tools that you have to use to what? To deal with this type of craft. Right? Of course. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, because the Bible is written in parables and symbology.
Yes.
And
yes, Malik.
It's not written straight up in English, like English. And we speak the dumbed down version of English too. So
yes,
that's the language. So you gotta break that word down back to the origin. So.
And when we have these conversations, when I say it's nothing wrong to having these conversations at your churches, you should. Because the kingdom includes all. And all means all. And science confirms what the Bible says, right? It asserts that man really contains within himself, herself, all the universes, all the systems, all the planets and the globes. And that we affirmation of the ancient masters who said, and I quote eloquently with a silver tongue, I, Abanis thee, that desireth to dive into the inmost parts of nature, if that which thou seekest thou findest, not within thee, not within thee, not within thee, thou will never find it without. So without a loud voice I proclaim, I, man, know thyself, and thou will know the universe. What I know thyself. Anything outside ourself is what, Malik?
True shirt.
See, we don't have no problem with no one. Malik say anything outside himself is true shirt. You can't be mad at that. You can't be mad at someone that'll tell you who they are. We in America. What are we talking about? We have the right. And science says the human frame as a machine is perfect. It contains within itself no marks by which we can possibly predict its decay. It's apparently intended to go on forever. Think about these things when I say we digressed. There is no psychological, reason known at present why man, why woman should ever die. Think about this context. It's more difficult to explain why a man, why a woman dies than it is to show that he or she can live forever. Think about what I'm saying. And under the law of creation, nothing that is less than perfect can come into existence. Think about this, y'all. Modern science finds that to be the case. So when people say, well, do you believe in miracles? Well, not really, because the scripture don't talk about miracles per se. You got to have eyes to see and ears to hear. Watch this, y'all. First, the living creatures of every kind corresponded to this law of what? Perfection when they first appeared on the earth. Think about what we're saying. But the power of the law does not extend beyond the point of the origin. And after living creatures came into existence, perfection may be lost by what? Degenerative process that results from many causes, or from what? A combination of causes. Remember, we digressed. Think about these things, man. When you look at ancient manuscripts, when we talk about the things that was lost, that the Smithsonian hid, all those giant bones, those books I showed y'all that the Smithsonian has stolen. We have digressed. They still don't know how the pyramids was built. They still don't know how the big Olmec heads was moved from here to there. So what? We had to digress. Think about it.
Yep.
When they say the land of the giants.
Hello.
Think about what I'm saying. All this stuff you can look and be like, well, this is here, yes, because it's written in a fashion to throw you off. You can just like the Epic of Gilgamesh, all other scriptures, just like the view of the Hebrews. When I start showing manuscripts that go with certain things, you're gonna be like, well, let's go with this. You're gonna be like, well, why the book of Yasha was taken out? Why this was taken out? It's gonna be so many pieces to the puzzle as we go on, as we put things together.
Hey, Sheik.
Yes, sir.
So what you're saying is that everybody out here talking about they got such high science and how much they know. But you're saying we still ain't got no we ain't got no resemblance of no ancient thing in the now present. So how much power, how much knowing is helping you?
Come on. You see? Man, Alonzo, I knew my brother. You tell me.
Don't seem like much, no.
Perfection is within. Think of, like Brian say, think about it. Watch as we start talking about other things and all other texts as I jump around. Because remember, I gave you Matthew chapter 10, verse 16. Keep that in your mind frame. Just keep that.
The tabernacle but without hands. That's the answer.
Come on. You know? See, man, the kingdom of all was said by all ancient masters to be what within. To secure, know thyself. And the experience of thousands of years has proven this right. And we know better than to search without for the fulfillment of the desires. But see, the schools and the colleges, it's done in reverse. No one teaches you to search within for the property. Yes, it don't teach you to look within for the property which would promote health and prolong life. See, the natural logical course is rejected because it would not make great and rich institutions of the land which shape man's destiny and rule in certain lies. And they were not founded on the betterment of humanity, as they falsely claim, but for their own profit and gain. Think about these things. And according to the doctrines, y'all, of the ancient masters, perfection was the primal state of man. And under the law, nothing less could come into existence. You see? And perfection is the rare state which puts woman beyond desire, use, and need. It is whole and complete in itself, totality. I had a conversation with a young man the other day because I'm in my city of Flint, and the young man is so powerful. He was like, "Sheik, you said something one day," and I was like, "What?" Because I always talk about myself. I said, when you weak in your lower self as a young man, certain women look for weak men when you sexually, when you sexually promiscuous. How can I say it at a younger age? Because that's a form of weakness. That's a form. Yes, that's a form of weakness.
Because they can control you in that fashion.
Yes, yes, it's a character flaw. With all due respect. And she was like, he was like, you should get on the panel. I said, well, we share this, but I tell this in a lot of brothers and sisters. That's how certain things are judged. When I say things need to be judged on a proper pendulum, when you look at things and when you can compare and contrast, but that's just one perspective, is what I'm saying. You know?
Uh-huh.
You know, aside from changing the environment, it's a lot of other things that goes with that. When we talk about the inner, you know, what it's all about. When we be looking for so much stuff outside, when we talk about yoga and spiritual yoga, you be like, what you mean, Sheik? I said, I always talk in the divine. I always talk in the metaphysics. So when you look up these words, when you look at what I'm talking about in this realm of connecting yourself to God and man, these are code words. It's certain processes that need to be done to get you here. What you mean, Sheik? I just told you. If Malik want to be a better student at anything, Malik have to study it, little by little every day. So Malik have to come up with a plan that works for him. So if Malik work in the daytime, he say, man, when I get off work, I'm gonna study this, I'm gonna read chapter of this, boo-boo, then I'm gonna work out, I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do it, my voodoo, blah, blah, blah. That's gonna be his process. His process is gonna get him better. At what he do? Why? Because he have a plan. The plan is the process. The process is the work. The outcome is from what? The work, the cause, and the effect. You see? It's that simple. But when we get into this knowledge and stuff, I say, I hear the wisdom. But when the heart is pure, and if you got some sense, you're going to know how to link up with man. You're going to know how to link up with the right ones. Why? Because it's one body in many parts. This is what people don't understand, the power that's been took from us. When we talk about the Black Christian codes and all this stuff, we didn't have the opportunity for brothers like myself to get that wisdom and understand it and bring it back as a Pied Piper and say, okay, pass a pot out for collections. and do something with it. Think about what I'm saying. Think about the understanding and the keys what we able to bring, man. Like all this stuff, even when I talk about the occult anatomy of man, when you hear me talk about the occult anatomy of man, and I just talked about a document that my noble got up, and then if my noble can pull up the occult anatomy of man, when I show people things, when I show images, when I show pictorials, when I show man standing up as a perfect penta with all his extremities, his arm, leg, arm, head, and all the writers, all the sages, no matter if they're European, if they had any wisdom like Manly P. Hall and Neville Goddard and Edgar Cayce and all those Gnostic writers, man, they agree with what I'm saying. It's all more science. This is all I'm saying. Like when you see signs and symbols, when you see the Kabbalah, when you see all these things, I can put things on top of each other like maps. I mean, like hands, and it'll fit just like a glove,
Yeah.
These are things that we should be talking about. All in the occult anatomy of man. We talk about the human body in symbolism. You see?
It's just uploading. It'll be up just a second. It's uploaded.
Yeah, take your time. But watch this. We can always find this stuff in text, in scripture. In scripture, we are told that God made man. What, y'all? How did the scripture say God made man? How?
In the image, in the likeness.
In his own image, right?
Yeah.
Okay. So it is so stated, not only in the Christian Bible, but also in the holy writings of nearly all enlightened people. The Jewish patriarchs taught that the human body was the what? Microcosm, or the little cosmos, made in the image of the macrocosm, or the great cosmos. And this analogy between the finite and the infinite is said to be one of the keys by the aid of which the secrets of the Holy Writ are unlocked. And there is no doubt that the Old Testament is a psychological and anatomical textbook to those capable of reading it from a scientific viewpoint and the functions of the human body. I'm just in the introduction, chapter 1.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm just in the introduction. I'll be jumping around like House of Pain, But in the anatomical textbooks to those capable of reading it from a scientific viewpoint, like you and I. Right now, we have our eye on. Check what I'm saying. So, the functions of the human body, the attributes of the human mind, and the qualities of the human soul has been personified by the wise men of the ancient world, and a great drama has been built around their relationships to themselves and to each other. Watch this. To the great Egyptian demigod Hermes, the human race owes its concept of the law of analogy. The great Hermetic axioms was that which is above is like unto that which is what?
Below.
Yeah. And that which is below is like unto that which is above. Yes. So watch this. And this, or the religions of the ancient world, were all based upon nature worship, which is degenerated form, have survived to our own clay as phallicism, the worship of the parts and functions of the human body began in the later the Lumerian, that time period or that dispensation. And during the Atlantean epoch, this religion gave place to what? Sun worship, but the new faith incorporated into it. You can research this stuff and doctrines, many of the rituals and symbols of the previous beliefs and the buildings of temples in the form of the human body is a custom common to all people. Remember the tabernacle of Jews, the great Egyptian temple of Karnak, the religious structures of the Hawaiian priests, and the so-called Christian churches laid out in the forms of cross are examples of this practice, and in the human body were laid out, remember, with the iron spread in the shape of all these buildings, it would be found that the high altar will occupy the same relative position in the building that the brain occupies in the human body. Do y'all see the power? I hope y'all seeing what I'm saying. When people come with the flim flam, we're not coming with the flim flam. We're coming with something universal. We get the exoteric. I'm giving you esoteric keys of what? Biblical scriptures, text. We can pick up any text. We can pick up the Tantra. We can pick up anything and do the same things that our elders did. We can do what Bobby Hemmett did. We can do what C. Freeman L. did. We can do what John Henry Clark did, Dr. Ben, Sheikh Anta Diop. We can do Dr. Francis Cress Wilson and any other scholars that's passed. Why? Because we can go there. And even other scholars that's unmelanated per se, that was truth tellers, that were 5%ers. All the priests of the ancient world were autonomous. They all recognized that all the functions of nature were where? Reproduced in miniature in our bodies, y'all. That's why we use man as the textbook for teaching their disciples that to understand man was to understand your universe. And these wise men believe that every star in the heavens, every element in the earth, and every function in nature was represented by a corresponding center. Remember, Alonzo say everything connected. Why? A pole or activity within the human body. When you look at the clock of destiny, you have so-called Muhammad in the middle with all those rays and the different astrological signs connected to it. Or you had a sun in the middle. Understand what we're saying. You have to, this is elementary wisdom, but it's high science for those that understand the words that are coming out of my mouth. And if you don't, you still should be able to pick up on the poles and the vibrations. Watch this. This correlation between nature without and the nature of man within, which was concealed from the multitudes. So when we talk about exoteric, we talk about the generalities. When we talk about esoteric, we talk about the ones that understand the way, my close companions, the Jacobites. Nothing secret but sacred, the ones of the way, the ones that's interpreting the wisdom. Like, no, we ain't gonna let this, because this is analogy, this is a parable, this is symbology. No, this is the way this needs to be read. You haven't even researched and have a small understanding of what this is saying. With all due respect. Why? Because then if you're dealing with biblical text, it's certain tools that we call hermeneutics and hermeneutics. And so when people try to come with things, if you a master student or if you a master defense, no matter what someone's coming with, you know how to use the defense in what? Their craft. You don't have to fight. You could just use the defense. They're going to see why? Because the defense is going to allow you to stand strong on your square. Remember this. The defense is going to always be able to allow you to stand strong on your square. Why? Because you're defending it with their science.
Hello, somebody.
With all due respect, man. So I want people to understand when people say, well, what do you mean, Sheik? And I say, listen to me. With all due respect. I've been there. I've done that. I'm just trying to make this comment to my people. I'm just trying to, all the people that follow me on TikTok and all this, I'm like, y'all, let's connect and let's come together. Because it's a whole nother level of wisdom that can get us somewhere. You know, we have foolish connotations of things. A lot of, like, when people say that their faith is the one and only true inspired doctrine. And then I say, well, if I can show you 16 crucified saviors before Jesus Christ, they start slobbing and snot start coming out their mouth. Oh, don't you talk about my deed. With all due respect, I said, see, I'm not doing that. It's like, and then if we want to deal with origin, remember, I always say, I'm not on no one side. I'm not on no misnomer black lie. I'm not on no misnomer white lie. I stand right in the middle as the truth. I stand by myself. And I give my life for what I know is righteous. With all due respect. Think about these things when we come from reason and understanding, when people just profess things. And I say, well, that's just a belief system. When you have a study of comparative religions, it proves beyond a doubt, with respect, that Christianity has begged, borrowed, or stolen its philosophies and concepts from the religions and philosophies of the ancient and medieval pagan world. Among the religious symbols and allegories which belonged to the world long ago before the coming of Christianity are a few to which we would like to call to your attention. The following Christian symbols and concepts are of a lot of pagan things, with all disrespect. It's a book called Stolen Legacy by George G.M. James. With all due respect, you know? And that's why I tell people, I say, why are you people upset? I said, this stuff is older than me and you. It's nothing new under the sun.
Nope.
It's nothing new under the sun. This is what we be telling people when people be professing things and you see our brothers and sisters out here angry and all this stuff. I say, well, what are you angry about? And standing up for false pretenses that's really not going to do nothing. And we've been right here telling people what's going to happen for the longest, and it's playing out. People, don't you know the Christian cross come from Egypt and India? People be like, oh, no, it ain't. No, it's not. It come from Egypt. I'm telling you. The triple-mitre, the Triple-mitre, from the faith of the Mithriacs. The shepherd's crook from the Hermetic mysteries in Greece. The Immaculate Conception from India. The Transfiguration from Persia. And the so-called Trinity from the Brahmins. The Virgin Mary as the Mother of God is found in a dozen different faiths. There are over 20 crucified world saviors. The church steeple is an adoption of the Egyptian obelisk and the pyramids. With all due respect, while the Christian so-called evil thing, you know, the spooky, is the Egyptian typon with certain modifications. The deeper one goes into the problem. The more he realizes that there is nothing under the sun. A truly sincere study of the Christian faith proves beyond all doubt that it is the evolutionary outgrowth of primitive doctrines. There is an evolution in religion as well as in physical form, y'all. And if we accept and incorporate it into our doctrines, the religious symbolism of nearly 40 people, it behooves us to understand, at least in part, the meaning of the myths, the allegories, which we borrow, lest we be more ignorant than those from whom we secured them. Think about this, what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. We have to look at things and I'm showing us how we've been bamboozled for so long. No one is doing this to us. We don't go to nobody else organizations or schools or churches. Man, your uncle the pastor, your cousin the pastor. With all due respect, and then I say, but I bet you a lot of them be Freemasons and a lot of them be in Greek fraternities. With all due respect. Huh?
Secret and take oaths.
Yes.
Very in shallow grave.
Yes. And it'd be no disrespect, Malik. It'd be no disrespect. I'd be like, well, one day, because you know my mother liked to go to the church out here with her friends and things, and I used to go just to make a scene because there's a lot of old people. So I just go chaperone my mom. I speak and, you know, say a word for the people because I do what the people want me to do, you know. But make a long story short, the preacher had a guest preacher, and I said, he a Mason. She like, how you know? I said, look on the back of his car. He got the insignia and everything. So they be knowing what I be talking about.
Hey, you know what's funny though?
Mm-hmm.
The only ones that boast about them being a Masons are melanated Masons.
Yeah.
And people be asking me, that's why, oh, you a Mason? Like, nah. I said, I'm a Muslim, not a Mason. But I said, I know the science of what you speak of.
Yeah.
But I said, I don't take oaths.
Yeah.
I said it's sacred, but it's not a secret. So
yeah, not with us. Are we a brotherhood? Yes. Do we have a charter? Yes. Yeah. Do we operate the signs and symbols? Do we use our compass and our square? Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, and when I show things with eyes, man, I want to say much more, but I want to be politically correct because I wonder if my homeboy on here from. Well, I'm gonna say what I'm gonna say. Hell.
No, so you show things with your ears.
Just like I told my homeboy in Mississippi, that's a Mason. When we be talking about things, he was like, "She, they don't teach us this in the lodge." I said, "I know." I said, "I know a lot of stuff not taught." And Malik, I said, when you begging the other man to be recognized, you clearly ain't nothing. When you begging the other man to be recognized, and they ain't recognized you since the 1700s, and you still begging on your knees,
And
man,
they know that them sons of Muslims, and they won't tell you that.
Man, come on, Malik Khan.
That's crazy.
This all, I keep it 100. That's why I'll be like, man, people need to really leave me alone. I'm not mad at the other man. And I can't be mad at the other man because most of my teaching was at the university. What they showed me is I had to get my own charter because the things that I was learning. I couldn't be a part. I didn't want to be no Scottish Rite Mason. Then I would have to take an oath. I had to get my own charter and my own brotherhood, which I've done, a school, a temple. And when I see things and when I hear what a lot of brothers and sisters have done, with all due respect, Malik, as we referring to, when they get into these so-called groups, it turns into a fallacy.
Yep.
You know, because they know and I know, man, we're what we're doing, man. We're showing the existence between the symbolism of the ancients and the occult of the human body. And that's what they're not telling you. All Masonic symbolisms, when you see different groups of Masonic symbolism, I'm going to show you that all those are mathematical equations. When you see everything in Masonic, what? Everything is mathematical equations, and it ain't nothing but elementary science. How? Because I'm going to use my compass and my square. When you look at the Masonic G on there, those are two elementary tools on there. It's a compass and a what? A ruler. Those are elementary tools. You use those in elementary. So we ain't talking about nothing high science. So don't be afraid of some dang old tools.
Right.
Think about what I'm saying.
Tools,
and there are no
tools in the workshop of the mind.
Yes. And if we deal with wisdom, we already quote books like what? Signs and Symbols of the Primordial Man. Yes. Who is that by? Albert Churchward?
Albert Churchward.
So we cross-referencing things that we showing our brothers and sisters what we need to do. We got to understand all sacred writings are supposed to be sealed with what? 7 seals. And when you say that, the 7 seals, we come from other levels of the 7 seals. We break it down esoterically and exoterically. Why? Because that's what we do here in school. Every subject that the person might think is high, what do we do? What do we do? I take that and we break it, and we take that tool and we break it down to what? It's a small molecule, right, Nobles?
Yep.
We take that 7 seals and we break it down from a clear understanding, and we build it back up and we put it where it needs to go. Think about this. That's why, Malik, we keep telling people to come. Our doors is open. Come to class. Support what we're doing. Build your library. Have a think tank with us. It requires 7 complete interpretations to understand fully the meanings of these ancient philosophic relations and revelations, which we like to call the Holy Writ or the Scripture. It's not intended to be historical. When we talk about analogy and parable and symbology, a lot of times that's not intended to be historical, but to have a clear understanding. And those who understand its literal meaning understand it's the least of the meanings. When you understand the basic meaning, you should understand, as a scholar, which people be saying, that's the least of the meaning.
Hello.
I'm telling y'all, man, remember Shakespeare? For dramatic reasons, brought together in his plays characters who had actually lived hundreds of years apart. Think about it. Yeah, I got that one. Yeah, I got that sign or symbol of the primordial man. Yeah, I send it to your email just like that. Everything I talk about, Noble, I send it to people. Anything that you hear me and my Nobles talking about, we hold books up and I say I have everything. I converted. Well, not just me and my muftis, we converted all this stuff to ebooks. And then they print and bind the expensive books. Because a lot of people be wanting those expensive books printed and binded. But then a lot of people just want the ebook, you know, but those we call NFTs. But yes, everything that we speak on, we have. Isn't it interesting that the American Indian should wear their feathers? Me and my Noble Malik was at the mall when he came to visit me out in Arizona, and we had our she-mags on. You know, some people may call them turbans, but turbans are a little different. This is what I have on is a she-mag. And a brother was staring at us. And he was like, oh, you got my turban on, my headdress. Malik was like, well, if we got your headdress on, why you ain't got it on? And it just
goofy stuff, man.
I just be telling y'all real life.
Don't to me that goofy stuff.
And I just be talking about real life because in Arizona, we're known for a certain thing. We're known to do a thing. Then he was like, how do you guys wrap them? And Malik was like, how do we wrap them? Like the same way you would learn how to do anything. The same way you tie your shoe. I think you learn how to tie your shoe. The same way. The same way.
Isn't it crazy how they come here to the States willingly and then lose their culture?
Mm-hmm.
That's crazy.
Yep. Which really is the symbolic of the spiritual perception. And in the same place where the Christian monks shave their head, the Hindus teach that the pineal gland is the third eye. In more science, we call it the ajna, called the eye of Dhamma. It's called by the Buddhists, the all-seeing eye. And it's spoken in Christianity as the what? The eye single. Remember? The eye single. Even in the biblical scriptures, remember, the high priest wore a turban with the jewel on it. So when y'all be wearing y'all turbans and y'all have y'all Moorish head on there, with y'all in y'all image in that context as high priest. We also wear our bonnets, aka kufis. The followers also wear bonnets. And when we wear our regalia, we wear our tunics, cotton or silk. We can even wear a girdle, which the biblical text says. See? And we are told that ages ago, the pineal gland was an organ of sense orientation by which man cognized the spiritual world. But that with the coming of the material sense and the two objects' eyes, it ceased to be used. And during the same time of the Lemurian race retreated to its present position in the brain. And it said that children recapitulating their previous periods of evolution have a limited use of the third eye up to 7 years, at which the skull bones grow together. That's how when we talk about we digress, yes. And the accounts for the semi-clairvoyance, the condition of the children who are far more sensitive than adults along psychic lines. That's why the pineal gland is supposed to secrete an oil, which is called reason, the life of the pine tree, right? Yeah. Think about this. And the word is said to be involved in the origin of the Rosicrucians. When we talk about the rose and the cross, when I tell y'all everything that I talk about, I'm a cross-referencing. Why? Because if I've been there, if I did something, I'm going to bring it to my brothers and sisters. I can, because I ain't took no oath. Am I initiated? Absolutely. Is it sacred to me? Absolutely. There ain't nothing secret with me. That's why I build freely. I'm telling you. And who we working with the secretions of the pineal gland and seeks to open our single eye. Isn't it said in your biblical text, the light of the body is what? The eye. It's the eye. That's what the text said. The light of the body is the eye. And if their eye be what? Single, that's what it says. It says the whole body shall be filled with light. If the eye be single. Come on, brothers and sisters. I'm showing y'all, for my close companions, I'm showing y'all the way. We going down the yellow brick road. Man, come on, man. We going down the yellow brick road. We almost home. We almost home. The pineal gland is the tail of the so-called dragon. Now, remember I told y'all Matthew 10:16, right? I hope y'all got that in your head. Keep that, because I'm going to come to a place as we wrap this all up. The pineal gland is the tail of the dragon and has a tiny finger-like protuberance at one end, right? And this gland is called so-called Joseph, for it's the father of the God-man. Stay in context. And this finger-like protuberance is called the staff of God, per se. Sometimes the Holy Spirit. Stay with me. Its shape is like the evaporating vessel of the alchemist. It is a spiritual organ, which is later destined to be what it once was, namely a connecting link between the human and the divine. Therefore, the vibrating finger of the end of this gland is the rod of Jesse and the scepter of the high priest. Y'all still with me? Certain exercises, as given in the Eastern and the Western mystery schools, cause this little finger to vibrate, resulting in what? That buzzing, that droning sound in the brain. This is sometimes very distressing, especially when the individual who experienced this phenomena, in all too many cases, knows nothing about the experience through which you passing through. Because I tell people all this stuff is a physical experience. It's nothing outside yourself. We'll talk about this at a later teaching. We talk about the fasting Buddha. We be like, what you mean? I say, man, you got to understand that we operate under the fasting Buddha, most of my brothers and sisters. We don't operate under the gluttony Buddha. We understand that, but we operate under the fasting Buddha. That's a whole nother teaching. But in the middle of the brain and it's surrounded by the convolutions in the third ventricle, a vaulted chamber of initiation. Remember, around it sit what? How many kings? 3. The 3 great centers of life and power, the pituitary body, the pineal gland, and what? The optic thalamus. See? And in this chamber also is what? A small gritty seed, which is undoubtedly connected with the king's coffer in the Great Pyramid. And the third ventricle is supposed to be the seat of the soul, family, and the aura radiating from the head of the saints and the sages is said to represent what? The golden glow pouring from its what? Third ventricle. I know y'all follow me, man. We almost there. The body is almost built up perfectly. Watch this. Between the eyes and just above the root of the nose is the spreading in the frontal bone of the skull, which is called the what? The frontal sinus. And the slight bulge caused by the spreading of this bone is known to what? Phrenology, as the seat of what? Individuality. It is here that the jewels are placed on the forehead of the Buddhist. And it's also from this point that the serpent rose from the crown to the ancient Egyptians. And several of the mystery schools teach that this is the seat of Jehovah, but we know it never was a J in the Hebrew dialect. So when you're looking at Jehovah, put a Y in front of it. And what you get? Yahweh. Yahweh. You get Yahweh. I'm trying to tell you, with all due respect, in the human body. While his function is through the generative system, his centers of consciousness, as a part of the spirit of man, is supposed to be located where? In a sea of the blue ether called the veil of Isis. Right? Think about what I'm saying, brothers and sisters. And in the center of the frontal sinus, when clairvoyantly studying the body of man, the little point always shows up as a black dot and cannot be analyzed. Why is that? Remember the Palatine Hill, when you research this stuff of the ancients, upon which were built the temples of Jupiter and Juno, also has its place in our body. Watch this. The body is building up. The palate bone is a short of a heel-shaped structure. Right above it are the what? Orbital cavities containing what? The 2 eyes, which are the Jupiter and Juno of the ancient world. Watch this. The cross, of course, represents the human body. The upper limb of it is the head of the man rising above the horizontal line of his outstretched arms. As we stated earlier, remember we said that the great churches and the cathedrals of the world have been built in the form of a cross and contain where the head should be the altar upon which the burning lighted candles. And these candles are symbolic of spiritual sense centers in the brain, while the custom of placing a rose window over the altar suggests the soft place in the top of the skull. And the skull, the upper room, remember the upper room is the sanctum and the sapterum of the Masonic temple. It's the sanctum and the sapterum of the Masonic temple. And to it only the pure can aspire. I hope y'all with your brother. The wing
Absolutely.
bone. We almost there. See, this is what you say. This is the teachings that keep you up. You get on fire. The wing bone, which medical science known as the, how can I say, the sphenoid, is the Egyptian scarab carrying in its claws the pituitary body, and also bearing aloft the gleaming spark of immortality located in the frontal sinus. And we are told in the ancient mythologies that the gods came down from heaven, didn't it? And walked with man, instructing them in the arts and the sciences. So let me give y'all a little wisdom as I destroy that analogy, because that's analogy in the parable. That's talking about the wisdom coming down. Watch this though. So we hear about the Anunnaki, and we hear about, with all due respect, a European writer named Zachariah Sitchin, and he wrote the Anunnaki and all that. The Anunnaki is some aliens. I'm telling you, that's all pseudo. And that's where that came from. The Anunnaki is the Iberian. You look at the dress. I already explained the dress. You see the braids, you see the tunic, cotton or silk, you see the scimitar, you see the sandals. It ain't no aliens. If you think that, that's on you.
We are the extraterrestrial.
Yes, absolutely. That's facts. And in a similar way, the godlike powers in man descended from the heaven world of his brain to carry on the work, constructing and reconstructing natural substances. Remember, everything is inside. They'll make a figure or a certain scene symbolizing some outside. You're told that the ultimate of evolution, man's body will slowly be dissolved back again into the brain, which was its origin, until nothing remains but 7 globular centers, radiating 7 perfect sense perceptions, which are the spirits before the throne and the Savior, which he is bringing into the world to redeem it through the 7 periods of his growth. You see, we almost done. Man is an inverted plant, gaining our nourishment from the sun as the plant does from the earth. And as the life of the plant ascends, its stem to nourish its leaves and branches. So the life of man, woman, rooted in the brain, descends to produce the same result. And this life descending is symbolized as the world's saviors who come down into the world to die for men. And later these lives are returned again to the brain, where they glorify man before all the world of creation. So much for the story of the brain. And then later, because I want to end, we'll deal with the marvelous parts, namely the spinal column, because the spinal column is so amazing. That's how you connect the heaven above and the spirit of darkness below. How? The spinal column. The spinal column, a chain of 33 segments protecting within them in the spinal cord. So I'm gonna stop right there. So do anybody get Matthew chapter 10, verse 16?
Of course.
And what is that?
Matthew chapter 10. Oh, hold on. Got cut off a little bit. Hold on. I did have it. So what was Matthew chapter 10, verse what?
16.
15. All right, here we go. You ready?
Yeah.
It says, I am sending you out like sheep among wolves. Therefore, be shrewd as a snake and innocent as a dove.
Yeah. So shrewd, so in other texts, it'll say, be wise as a serpent. You know what I mean? So will a person say, well, what did that mean? And then I sent y'all a book by Fritz Springmeier. And on the cover, it got some symbology. I just want you to see the symbology if you put the cover of that on there real fast, because this is the last
Which
little
one?
part. It's called Be Wise as a Serpent, as serpents.
Oh, hold on. I have it up already.
Now, now what you looking at, Noble Malik? What's around that triangle? What do it say?
Hold on, I gotta blow it up. Hold on.
Blow it up.
It says the magical watchtower, the Masonic Tower of Babel, Christianity, systematic destruction.
Okay. So remember we said, and Jesus told his disciples to be wise as serpents, right?
Yeah.
And harmless as doves, right?
As doves, yeah. Harmless, yeah. It says basically harmless.
Be wise as serpents.
Yeah.
Be wise as serpents is the history of the systematic destruction of so-called Christianity and the building of a one-world religion. When you research this, it's based on the confidential interviews with participants within the conspiracy, by interviews of unwitting participants within the conspiracy and historical documentation. You will discover that there is great evidence for a history we have not been told, and a great struggle before mankind as the one world power religion comes into focus. Now, a lot of things
have been told. That's a false, right? We have been told. We just got to read.
Yes, we now remember when I told y'all as we close, not because we having a little conversation, I want to highlight this. Remember, I told y'all during certain times in Detroit, when you had the Watchtower and you had Rudolph, and it was certain writings when you see certain things, it's common with a lot of people, Islam. No disrespect.
The Watchtower, that's the is it Mormons?
Jehovah's Witness.
Jehovah's Witness, yes, Jehovah's Witness.
Yeah.
Christians, Jehovah's Witness, and Masons.
Yeah. Yeah, it is point blank. Hey, and see, yes, yes. With all due respect, I know a lot, and the book connects the Jewish Witnesses Watchtower Society with the Masons. The only reason why I say this because, and where I went, people like, well, how do you begin?
I said, hello, Catholic Church.
Yes. The same way they know what the Sibyls talk about when I talk about who? Mommy Walters and the Sibyls. The same way I talk about the Islam and the Catholic connection, with all due respect. Yes, with all due respect. The Watchtower Society with the Masons, and some of the chapters for Be Wise as Serpents were originally written for the Watchtower and the Masons, but they wasn't used. It was obvious that this the writer saying, as I wrote the Watchtower and Masons, that I could not go into depth into his book, and that the book would have to be followed up with an in-depth work. But he said in 1990, it began looking for a publisher to Be Wise as a Serpent. But I don't want to stay too far in it. I just will tell y'all to look at it. But it's certain things, how people bring things up and create things and throw you off the breadcrumbs. And when they talk about the 13 families and certain things and a lot of stuff, when people start writing as pseudonyms and pen names, you know?
Yep.
You know, and you see certain stuff and you be like, well, dang, I didn't know they was a writer because they wrote in pseudonyms and pen names, you know? So that's what I want to just share with brothers and sisters, to show y'all that we have to start looking at things with a real eye, start connecting the dots and say, wait a minute, it's more wisdom than meets the eye. This stuff is talking about us, everything, even the Son of Perfection. You're gonna see, just like on the clock of destiny, you're gonna see the so-called sun in the middle with all the astrological signs around it or connected with rays. All the wisdom, no matter different linguistics, is gonna come to the same thing. It's gonna come to the same thing, brothers and sisters. And that's why I tell people, I'm right here, use me. You don't have to go to Amazon. I got a full library. You get all this stuff downloaded on the tablet. Travel everywhere, you know?
Yeah.
So that's all I wanted to talk about, man. And when people say magic, and I'll leave y'all with this, it's book like the 6th and the 7th book of Moses. A lot of stuff I'm gonna start bringing to y'all and show y'all real connections, just like the book of Enoch and the truth of the book of Enoch, how it's in different places. And like, it just might be written in a different name, but it's the same thing. And how could Enoch and a certain figure in the Bible ascend to heaven without being dead, but they're not in the Bible? Do that make any sense?
Yep.
See? And so it's a lot that we need to discuss historically and biblically. So I want to leave it right there. Do anybody got any questions or anything? Everybody know how to get the literature from me. My information is on there. Y'all can inbox me. like I said, we're here to share everything with y'all because I just wanted to give a little preview because we're going to deal with some stuff tomorrow, like in a Sunday school, like the cosmic consciousness. And we're going to talk about a study of evolution of the human mind. We know the basics. Everything is going to relay back to the mind. I guarantee you, no matter what, no color a person is, I guarantee you, we get out of that. We get into the mental, where we cross borders. We get into true understanding, which we have the right. And so if don't nobody have anything else, man, I thank y'all for your time. I thank y'all Muftis for being here. If anybody don't have any other questions, thank y'all. But we got to start looking at things, and I can show y'all how history has put a veil over our eyes and made us start and made, how can I say, the brother man act like Crips and Bloods with each other when it comes down to religion. Because I can show you how a lot of stuff, like people don't know how the Vatican created Islam, with all due respect. And they say, what you mean? And I say, if we're going to deal with history and origin, you have to just be honest. And then you look at things and you'll be like, wow. So once again, man, thank y'all. Do anybody got anything they want to share as we close? Yes, no, maybe?
No, I'm just delighted to be here, as always.
Me too. I'm delighted to be here as well, man. I'm delighted to be here as well, Malik. But
wake up every morning and breathe this fresh air, work out, go to work, be around people. This is a blessing.
Yep. Yep. But yeah, man, as everybody going in their day, like I said, I'm on TikTok too, yo. We got a lot of people on here. I just want to, as we close, to encourage people to continue to go, like to continue to be in the process. I encourage you to keep going. You know what I mean? That's the only thing, to wake up every day and do a little something. Like whatever you feel that you want to do, you got to do a little more. You got to put that work in. You got to put it on paper. It's a process, and you got to link with the right people. It's no other way, y'all. So I encourage everyone to do more. That's all I can say, and that includes myself. As we go into another level, trying to apply for different funding to do things for the community, and it's just so much that I think we all can help each other if we come together, man. No matter what state we in, this can be a global thing, brothers and sisters. We just gotta continue to do this work. But that's all I have, man. And if anybody need anything that's here on TikTok and on YouTube, y'all know how to get with me. My information is going down at the bottom. My phone number is on there. My email. Use us. Man, I'm telling you, I use the analogy of how Jeff Bezos got rich. Y'all should see how he got rich. Y'all know how Jeff Bezos got rich?
No, not personally.
He started selling books out of his garage, just going to different going and getting books and selling them. Almost similar when I first started doing it, going to the libraries, looking at the books, going to the Goodwill, seeing the prices on Amazon, like, oh, then I started collecting them. Then I started, downloading them. And then, it turned to a whole nother thing. And that's all I ask my brothers and sisters, because we're trying to build something. And even though we do frequent these companies, y'all, to be honest, nothing, it go back to our community, which they don't have to do nothing for our community. I'm not saying that, but just look at everything that we want. If we don't get it from our community, we get it from Amazon, like turbans, feds, stuff, our culture that we should take dear. And if we are part of something, we can able to, get tax write-off and things, because this is part of our, our religious society. So all these things, I think we don't give individuals the opportunity to be successful, to use their funds that they make on, how can I say, for profit businesses to do real community work. You know what I mean? Because they're not being frequent. And a lot of people, they get ebooks from Amazon, and we print books as well, just the expensive ones, but we do deals and we give gifts. So all I'm saying is, man, is as we continue to go, and I'm getting a lot of people that follow us on different platforms. So, do business with us. If you study and you read all my movies that you see on there, we have a full library. My Noble Maso, he do book club every Friday, or he do a pre-recording. Everything he talk about, you have access to get. Noble, somebody asked me about where we been And it was like, man, y'all have this, and that, and the other. And I said, man, what you mean? Y'all on social media.
6 years.
Yeah, people not sharing it. People not sharing it. That's where we at. He was like, man, y'all got a full library. Y'all do this. Man, he was like, your boy Maso do the tea and he ship it all over. I said, yes. I'm like, people not sharing it. That's all. Like, if people share it that follow us and tap in and hit us up, you will see everything we do is real. We meet and greet. We do all this. But if we into studying and reading and supplies and things, I think we should do business with each other. I mean, that's the only way you can say, hey, man, I'm sure these brothers and they got this going on. Like my other brother on here do web design. My noble Alonzo, he have ALO Design Pros. And I just be asking people just to look that stuff up when we be talking. Take the chance to write these things down, just like other people do when I meet in life. And they look it up and they'll be like, oh, be like, y'all some brothers? Yeah, y'all righteous. And I tell people to do business with us, and definitely, support it with the books and with the turbans and with the fezzes and with the tea and with something that you say you into, but at least the literature to build your library, which you can get from us for small donations and at least come to class. At least you can do those things that we ask brothers and sisters, because we invite you and we want you all to come and we want your children to come. We want you to come no matter what you think or what you may have heard. This is a safe place. If you have questions and things, we have an email where you can ask questions, but a lot of times after class, if it's honorable, I always want to ask questions to clear things up, or maybe you could clear things up for me because I'm always here to learn. But we always want to have that door open so we can come together and do some things. But brothers and sisters, we got to start doing business together. And we can't be afraid to talk about money when people be saying we don't have money. Yes, we do. If people are standing in some line for some Jordans, that's my age still, in a community where the average income is under 20,000, you can't tell me it ain't no money in the neighborhood. You can't tell me there ain't no money in the neighborhood when all the misnomer Arabs come to the neighborhood and open all the chicken spots, and they own all the chicken spots. And in Detroit, they own all the Coney Islands. This ain't in their hood. This in the urban neighborhoods, y'all.
Right.
Noble Maso, remember we were coming from one part to you was taking me back to my people's house, all them little low-key chicken spots. What did it say? Chicken and liquor? I don't even know what it said. It said something. Remember those?
How can foreigners cook chicken better than the people who invented it over here?
I have no idea. And we rode past a whole bunch of them on the way. I said, Maso, here go another one. I like Moso, another one. I like Moso, here go another one. He like, dang. I'm like, holy smack. So then, so then I'm home. The same thing. The little misnomer Chaldeans, they own the chicken and fish spots in all the areas in the neighborhood, and the place is raggedy. So they cooking all the fish and chicken. They making millions off the fish and chicken. And in Detroit, they own all the Coney Island spots. Noble Malik, not one, not two, not three. They own all the Coney Island spots, all of them.
Hey.
I'm telling you. So when we be saying we don't, like I say, if we hear into wisdom and everybody following us, if everybody saying, man, we're going to purchase something from this brother and we're going to help do something, we can build something for ourselves. We can have a real infrastructure that nobody can take down. Why? Because I see the need. That's all I'm saying. I see the need, man. Even as we close, y'all, as I talk about coming together and people applying for grants and everybody's state, because that's something I want to start talking to y'all about. Stuff is there. When I'm saying Moso and y'all, we just not in the game. When I say we, I'm just using it as a people. It's things in the community that's there. In each local community, once you set up a certain way, you just have to start applying for all those things. You know what I mean? It's funds there. It's local areas. It's stuff that I put in the text stream. You look up in your area. It's other people that's getting these things. It's some brothers in Saginaw. They just had their organization started in 2023. They just got 700 bands. To do seventh hour. So when I tell people we're not there, we're not sitting down at the table. When people talk about community and this, they're begging. I said, dude, we don't have to beg. That's why I tell people we set up the right way. The only way you can get things from funds from the city and from the state and all this is be set up the right way. Don't we want that? Don't we want those funds to do these clubs and do these soccer teams and do these basketball teams and do these stretch therapy and bring things into the community that they can't have and bridge the gap from education and this, that, and the other? The funds is there. If y'all look at those grant things in the text stream, that is there. And so this is the stuff I'll be talking about, man. I'll be like, y'all, we have to get in the game because we doing this. We might be doing this for our job, but we can actually apply and do these things. Y'all, I'm telling you, it's so much funding for these things. They call it the hardest hit fund, Moso. Everything that we doing is funding there. We just ain't applied. You would be having kids learning about health and wellness, about stretching, about eating healthy at a young age, about obesity. You would turn into a whole training thing. So you would bring it in at a young age. Obesity is high in the urban community. Why? Because the food we eating. You can bring all these things and increment and involve all these things in a program, but we ain't applying for things. It's just like what you're doing can be done with seniors. Like it's so much stuff, but we ain't sitting down as a conglomerate, as a group. I'm seeing this stuff. I said, man, we behind the game. I'm telling y'all, man, and it don't have to be in somebody specific city. We talk about wherever it blow up at. Why? Because we are all in different states. We just a template. So everything I apply for in Michigan and Arizona and Vegas, Maso might be applying for, not applying the same thing he doing in this area. If that's what he want to do, we have the template. We apply. We continue to reach out. We continue. You already look, Maso. You already collaborating with different organizations already.
Right.
So these are the conversations. That's all I'm saying that we're not able to have. That I'm able to have with others. I'm like, oh man. I said I need to bring this back to my people. We need to understand it. We need to understand what we're trying to do. And even using our own money that we giving Uncle Sam and understanding tax codes. These are just some of the stuff, y'all, that we definitely have to start talking about, that we definitely have to start bringing to the table. That's all I'm saying, because it's grant money for these things. Where we set up is certain organizations that'll donate to us. The same way y'all donate is they do monetary and tangible. The same way I had a soccer camp where we had Gatorade and Spalding donate. The same way that we do these things, the same way we can apply for 7th Hour to bring these programs and bring these teachings into schools. So this is just where I'm at with this science, man. You know, we have so much, and we have a whole library. We can change. We can do so much. Nobles, and like I said, it don't have to be in my area. Man, I got a whole blueprint, y'all, about our our virtual web library. Moso, somebody was like, man, that'd be amazing. You can come right to the library, go any of our laptops in there or any of our computers and type up any subject. Boom, go right on there. The book right on there. If you want to buy it or whatever, print and bind it, we can print and bind it for you right then. But we do have them on the shelf. But the ones on the shelf are just for people to come read. You feel me?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It's so much stuff that where I'm at, I'm like, y'all, I know we can do these things. We just have to sit down and just deal with the right people. Keep casting y'all net out, Nobles. You know, keep casting y'all net out. Keep linking up with people. If people on our websites and things, let's start emailing people back. And y'all hit me up. Anything that I talk about, I'm willing to give y'all. But we got to get in the business of doing business. If you have any products, if you provide anything, I'll do business with you. That's how it is. If it's something that I need, if I don't have anything you need, I don't expect no one to do business with me. If you say, man, well, I'm not into that. If I'm not into reading and studying, if I'm not into wearing my culture or this, that, and the other, or not do the X, Y, Z, no one can be mad at that because that's your right. But if you are into the things that I'm into, and I know you are because you're here listening to me and tune in every day, then I will hope we can do some business together. I will hope you want to see us have our temple and school and build things for our community. I will hope you will get some books from me. I will hope I'll be your book provider for anything you need, especially ebooks. And if it's expensive books, those too. We can print and bind those. So that's what we asking for our people. To at least check us out, to at least inquire with us, to at least check all our companies out. Once again, ALO Design Pros, ALO Design Pros. Once again, that's ALO Design Pros. How it sound? How it's spelled? ALO Design Pros. Got it? Get it. Mayat Sun Tees. Mayat Sun Tees. The T of Tees. Mayat Sun Tees. We got Morsachi.com. We got MorrisHaberdasher.com. We got what? My PDF Books. That's books with the Z. What else we got? BHB Music. Our noble Brian Bay. Y'all check out his album. It's called Transportation of Raw Materials. It's streaming on all platforms. And nobles, like I said, we have Morris Haberdasher, where you can get all your Moorish American regalia and much, much more. But right now, y'all, I look at y'all as family. I look at y'all as friends. I look at y'all as part of this brotherhood. So if you do business with me, you can do business with me personally. If you see anything on our companies and our page and anything I talked about, you can get it, things from us from discount for a discount today. All the books that we showed, a small donation, I can get them all to your email like that. If you want a turban or fez, a tunic, shemag, anything, we have it. We ready to ship fezes out as we speak, you know? So once again, nobles, thank y'all, man, for taking y'all time out today, man, and just being light. And as we go on this journey, man, Moso, you got anything you want to share about what you got going on after we close? Because I always be talking to you, I know, and people can follow you and tell them what you do with your stretch therapy and all that as well. You on mute, Noble.
Yeah. That's long. Yeah, you know, I'm in the Maryland, DC, Virginia area, so but I'm mobile as well, but I'm doing stretch therapy. You know, I've been doing this for the last 4 years, adding it along with my herbal tea blends. So anybody looking to reach out or need those services, whether you're an athlete, working at a desk, driver, you know, everyone needs stretching and, you know, to reset their muscles, just like we, you know, tune up our cars and do maintenance to our vehicle. You know, the body is the ultimate vehicle. So you want to make sure you're tuning that up every month or better. So
how can everybody get with you?
Tap in with me at Mayat Sons, MAATSUNZ on Instagram, and Herbs of Mayat is the website for the herbal tea blends. And you can even call me too at 202-744-8440. I'm hoping to help people in their process.
Is Noble Alonzo still here?
Peace, Noble.
Noble Alonzo, how you doing, brother? I'm glad you're here. Could you give everybody just a little briefing of, you know, what the auspices that you over and what you provide for the people and your profession and, you know, and your spare time and things like that? ALO Design Pros, if you don't mind.
Oh, yes, sir. So ALO Design Pros is a design and digital solutions company. Basically, anything that you're trying to get established as far as your business online on the web, as well as you're trying to develop apps and you're trying to figure out this whole AI curve that we're entering and are now in. So we specialize in that. We do consulting. If your organization needs to level up, learn what they can do with AI to improve their business workflow and process and strategy, we do that. So it's ALOdesignpros.com. You can go there and click the red button that says let's vibe together. You can generate what you want. It's a nice interactive walk you through how your strategy can be brought to life. So that's ALOdesignpros.com. You can also contact me at ALO Design Pros on IG. With that, I say gratitude and love.
Gratitude and love. Noble Brian, you still here? Noble Brian.
Islam.
Peace, Noble Brian. Can you let them know about, you know, your work as an artist and where they can get you, hear your music, and, you know, just a little intro if you don't mind, my brother.
Indeed. Islam and peace found. Well, my name is Brian Hicks Bay, and I make music, and I make music specifically, what I'm saying, for the soul, specifically for the upliftment of people as well. What I'm saying, and it's always gonna be a good time when you're listening to my music because it's gonna be edification. It's not gonna be something that's preaching death. It's gonna be something that's speaking life. And you can always find this on all streaming platforms, but you can specifically go find it at the website bhbaymusic.com. And it's all love, and I appreciate anyone that takes the time and have an open ear and open heart to take part in it, man. So thank you.
Islam, thank you. With Malik dumped off. Malik probably had to make a run. He multitasking, but Noble Malik does our workout every Saturday and Sunday every morning at 9, and our other Mufti, which is Lamarck Barclay Bay, he do it every single morning at 5 o'clock in the morning. He be early. I'll be missing that one. And Lamarck do that workout every morning. Oh, there go Malik. Yeah, Malik do the workout every Saturday and Sunday. Malik, can you share with what you do with us if you don't mind? You on mute, Noble. Like he talking cash stuff.
I said, no, I'm not sharing. Get on our YouTube page, our Facebook page, or my Facebook page. Man, just show up. Stop making excuses. Tired of telling y'all. Make excuses, make it happen. You can't do both. You got to choose. Be lazy or not be lazy. I'm just keeping it a buck. I ain't got time to coddle you. Come do it at your own pace. You ain't got to keep up with me. Everybody at different levels. Just do your level.
Yep.
But you got to start somewhere and then stick with it. 3 C's: commitment, communication, and consistency to yourself. It's all about self.
Yeah.
Self-development, self-love, mind, body, and spirit to self.
Yeah.
You can't help nobody until you help yourself.
Can't love nobody unless I love myself.
PHP, baby.
Yep.
About that presentation of raw materials.
Yep.
My everyday playlist is on there. The whole album.
It's fire. So yeah, Nobles, man, y'all more than welcome to join us. Please hit us up, call us, send us an email. Anybody on here, TikTok, man, let's build our community, man. Hit us up, say peace, y'all. We like the people.
How about that?
Say
Just show up.
Show up, come to class, say, man, and check out MoorishHaberdasher.com. That's MoorishHaberdasher.com, where you can get all your Moorish American regalia and much, much more. MyPDFBooks.com, books with the Z. And I don't know if BindedBooks.com website is done yet because my noble Lamar and my noble Dantes is not here, and they working on that. So, but y'all get with me, man, and we love y'all, man. Thank y'all for your time. We, like I said, we honor you, we respect you. Come be a part of our cipher, Malik. Oh yeah, they Malik showing off that artwork.
Bow, 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 bow. They know about those.
Yep. Yeah, we got some dope stuff coming out too, man, to show y'all, man, with our culture aware, with our tunics, man. We got some dope stuff coming out for the spring. Nice, like compression wear tunics, man. It's just some dope stuff, but thank y'all, man, for y'all time, man. Can y'all take us out with our Moorish American people?
Allah, Father of the universe, Father of love, truth, peace, freedom, and justice. Allah is our protector, our guide, and our salvation by night, by day, through his holy prophet, Drew Ali, Amin Ashe, Shalom Aleichem, Islam Ashe. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace. A talisman benediction reads as follows. May the benediction of Allah be upon thee and thine always, as thou shouldst strive to be a credit to Allah. Make haste to bestow thine acts of love upon thy brethren, and do the best to shun thine evil ones. Remember to take suckle of the breast of knowledge, wisdom, fortitude, charity, love, and all standing, that you might nourish the souls of men. Let truth be the shield in the manifest battle of falsehood. Know that Moors need not to pick the lock to the gates of paradise by means of petty or criminal theft, for behold, the key to salvation already rests within thine own hands. And yes, even though a portion of our nature is weakness, instability, and inconsistency, there still is the greater part of our nature that is divine. May Allah protect thee, guide thee, preserve thee, lengthen thy age, and give thee everlasting peace. Al-Rahman, Al-Rahim, Al-Haq, Ya Muhammad. And when we say Al-Haq, that's Arabic and it stands for the truth. And when we say Ya Muhammad, that's Arabic as well and it stands for the protector. We at the BBT see ourselves as truth protectors. And we cast our net out to all true and divine light seekers to come and join on to us because the truth has no sides. For the truth is one, as man is with Allah. And with that, we say peace and
Peace.
love. And all those that are practicing fasting at this moment in time, we say Ramadan Mubarak. We say Assalamu Alaikum. We say Hotep. We say praise God. We say Holy Aisha. We say Amen. We say Islam. So we say peace and love. Ashe, Ashe, Ashe. Peace, 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 peace.
Peace. Peace and
Peace
love,
and love,
noble.
family.
Love. We
Peace and
out.
love.
I'm a spirit speaking, truth seeking, heart reaching, knowledge leaking, seed sowing, harvest reaping, man of meager means. I have yet.
mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z.
Once again, this broadcast has been brought to you by mypdfbooks.com. That's books with a Z, where reading fundamental. Also brought to you by bindedbooks.com, where treasures are bound. Be sure to get all of your teas at My Son's Teas, the tea of teas, divinely prepared at herbsofmyart.com. Be sure to check out all of those musical stylings by Brian Hicks Spade at bhspademusic.com. For your everyday items and religious regalia, be sure to check out morrishaberdasher.com. And for that everyday especial Morris drip, be sure to check out morsachi.com. And all of these companies are powered by ALO Design Pros. Design your online business strategy today.
No such thing as failure, baby. Don't forget who made you.